watch this video for the perfect foundation routine. If you just like me have been looking for years for a foundation routine that would really work for you, I'm sharing today all of my tips, my favorite products, what works for me, why it works for me, and I'm taking you through the whole process of the application, and hopefully it will be helpful to you so you can figure out how I went from looking like that to this. And by the way, before we get started, my name is Zara. If you're new, welcome. Let's do this. Okay, so I want to get started like I usually do. I start with a very hydrated face. I'm not going to get into the products that I use to look like this and have my natural glow, but I will do that in a different video when I'm doing like my actual skincare video. We're going to get started with the foundation. Today the foundation that I want to use is actually by Dior. And it's the Backstage one. I love it. It's like a face and body foundation. I have not used it on my body yet. I mostly use it on my face, and we're gonna use that today. I think the reason why I like this a lot is because I find that it helps. It gives me like a natural glow. I feel like it's one of those foundations that is really genuinely waterproof, whereas like I use it and then it doesn't matter if I've sweated or anything, the finish is still very clean, very pretty, very nice when I'm done. So that's why I'm gonna use that. And if you've noticed, like my face is glowy like right now, but I typically have a face that's kind of more on the I wouldn't even say that it's oily per se, but it's oilier than it is dry. So I think I have a combination skin, to be honest. I got a few areas that can get dry, but mostly here and here can be shiny most times. But it doesn't really bug me per se. Like it doesn't bug me because I can always mattify if I need to. And this foundation does a great job of like getting my glow, and it's super light coverage. As you can see, like I say this in a good way, right? It's like it gives you like a natural finish if that's what you're looking for, right? Personally, that is usually what I'm looking for, because this is kind of like my day-to-day routine when I'm not like going out or anything, right? So I love that this Dior foundation does a great job at like giving me a very clean finish. Well, it's all over my lip, but that's okay. Okay. Drag it in onto my forehead. Sorry, I just have to go over a couple of the areas where I'm like, I know it could be a little darker, and when the areas that are gonna benefit from like my concealer, right? So there you have it. I usually, like you see, I don't actually use that much. I went like was it like two good pumps? They're not pumps, but you know what I mean, of the foundation. I think that it was around 2. And then I use actually this brush by Juvia's Place, and I think it's really good for blending out your makeup. Like all you do is just drag it. You know, you dab or you like do little circular motions, and it just really lets the thing sit on your face. It doesn't feel like it's eating up your foundation. Like it really feels like your skin is absorbing it. So I love that. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm like slurring my words. Slurring? I don't know what the word is. I feel like right now I'm kind of like dragging my tongue. I apologize. I think I might be thirsty. It might be the tea. I don't know. Could be the tea. So the next thing that I like to do is actually go ahead with my concealer. As you can see, actually my eyebrows are already done. I like to do very minimal eyebrow stuff. I don't like them to look that intense, and I don't even like do concealer under my eyebrows because I don't really care for that look per se. But that's just me for now. I could change, you know, I'm always constantly changing. So I'm gonna go in with this NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. When it comes to my concealer, as you can see, I have like these deep set eyes, and then this is usually like when I'm really tired, this area is really dark, and I feel like that's how you can tell if I've been sleeping or not. It literally tells on me. So I love having a concealer in my life. Personally, on most days actually now, all I need is like to go with this concealer. I'll put it right here, and then I'll put some powder, and then I'm good to go. I don't even use foundation because my skin's been nice to me. At times when my skin is not so nice, this is not my routine, okay? I'm using this concealer. I think it's in the shade... Okay, it's in the medium dark 3 in shade Almond, which is almond in English. And basically, I'm going in here, right? I'm going in here. And then I'm gonna go in, okay, I did it a as always. Nothing is ever symmetrical with me, but that's okay. Do that here. And then this really dark area on my chin. I like to conceal, right? So one thing about me, I don't really like overdoing concealer. As you can see, this concealer isn't that much lighter than my skin because I'm not big on like the very much super highlighted, super bright under eye look. I think it serves its purpose when you're doing like photo shoots, etc. But I feel like on a daily basis for me, I don't see the added value. And sometimes I feel like that area can get cakey the more you go for that look, and I don't have the energy for it, so I don't. I'm letting my concealer dry a little bit because I'm letting it dry a little bit because I've heard that like when you do that, your skin absorbs it a little bit, and then when you blend, the look is better. Tested it, approved it, so that's what we're doing, okay? Right, and while we're at it, let me just say, my foundation routine, this time around, I know if you followed me, you'd be like, oh, I'm surprised she's using anything other than like your regular, schmegular, drugstore products. So I've always been very cheap about my makeup, but I thought, okay girl, you're 30, it's time to kind of like invest a little bit more in products that might be a little pricier but like have the finish or at least give you what you're looking for. I feel like, yeah, I can kind of do that now. Like before I was kind of like always feeling guilty about wanting to spend money on makeup, but now I'm like, it's what I want. I'm a grown-ass woman. I'm old with 2 kids, please. So yeah, I let this dry a little bit. Typically, it's funny, I actually like using this brush again for concealer, but it would depend on my mood. Like sometimes because the areas I'm trying to conceal are small, I feel like it's kind of overdoing it, you know, to use this. And you guys will notice that this routine of mine is actually very quick and easy, honestly, because it's quick and easy. That's just what it is. I don't like spending a lot of time on my makeup. So see, let me see, do I want to use that brush or another brush? I don't know. There are 2 brushes I get along with very well. So this one, oh wow, what's the name of this? It's my Magic Foundation brush by Jacqueline I forgot the name, but I loved this when I first got it. It's really good at like blending. Actually, I might just use it because it's smaller, and I think I might just use that. And I'm just tapping gently because I don't want to like wipe off all the concealer, all my hard concealing work. So here you go. Right. Sometimes, I don't know, I don't really like doing anything around like my nose too much. I don't want it to change shapes because I love my nose. I love my Negro nose. It's a beautiful nose. So here you go. I don't really like touching it very much, so we're not going to touch it. I think what we're going to do is just maybe brighten up here in the center a little bit. See, it's very simple, right? It looks very natural. I haven't done a heavy under eye or anything, and I think that's the goal for me. So that's that. And then the next thing I like to do is go in with my powder. So recently I've been using this powder by Sephora, and it's the Poudre Compacte Mattifying. Okay, so it's a mattifying pressed powder, and it's in the deep shade, okay, shade 50. I like it because, like I said, I'm personally not big on, well, it depends, okay? I usually like to go in with this powder first, and I'm using like this BH Cosmetics brush. I like to go in with this powder, and typically you can see the difference right away. I hope you can see it as well as I see it in real life, like seriously. Because it just does a really great job at mattifying everything. And because, like I said, your girl can get real shiny generally because of what my skin is like, and then what the kind of products I like to use. Typically I like foundations that are like, I mean, they say they're mattifying, but I feel like they give me like one hell of a glow. So, and I like to kind of put powder on my eyelids too, because them things can be real shiny, no lie. Right, so now my face is kind of like completely covered. You're gonna be like, okay, good, now your face looks just regular. This is like, I would stop here if I'm going for a really super natural look, because look, you know, like you can't, I mean, you can tell I'm wearing foundation if you know me, because you know like where my scars are at, but honestly you can't really tell because it's just It's like everything just blends into my skin really well, right? So I love that for me. And I'm kind of like even not as shiny anymore, which is what I wanted, because I can, like, I swear I shine a lot. And now I feel like the next good thing to do is to add a little bit more depth to my face, a little bit more shape. And I like to do that with a blush. So I've been wanting to get like a cream blush to do this, but I don't have any. I'm using a powder blush, and it's actually from Juvia's Place. I'm using this shade called Toby. I feel like if you've watched me before, I've probably used this shade a few times. I want to have like an orangey feel. Well, it depends. If I'm going out in the daytime, I like my blush to be like orangey. If I'm going out in the nighttime, I want something a bit more terracotta, like, you know, red browns, because I feel like it adds more depth, and it's just more appropriate for the night. I feel like my orange is very much like, okay, I'm going out in the sunlight, and it makes sense. So I'm gonna go in with that first, and hopefully it'll show up on camera in the way that it shows up in real life. So I like to go right here, right? Just down. I hope you can see that. Yeah, you can. It's subtle, right? It's very subtle. Yeah, I love that. Let's see if I can kind of heighten it up a little bit just so you guys can see it really well. And depending on how I'm feeling, usually I might like go in with a deeper brown color, but I don't feel like I need to do that because I'm just showing you guys my regular routine. By the way, a quick thing that I like to share. Typically, if I want to have like a bright under eye look, and I've already kind of done my stuff with like my concealer is very much close to my shade, my foundation is very close to my shade. It's actually a perfect match for my shade. I might go in with like a lighter powder. So for example, the banana powder is something that I would put right in here for my highlight. I wouldn't actually go lighter with concealer, or I might put like a dot of like a different concealer, but like that's much lighter, but just like a little bit. But the thing with that is I have to make sure that my concealers like work well with each other. And right now, to be honest, from NARS, I only have one, so like I don't really like mixing it with my other concealer, which I really actually like, but it's from Juvia's Place in the shade, I think 13. Yeah, so but this one is particularly light. I think when I was ordering it online, I didn't realize to what extent. I feel like, I mean, it's very light. I don't think you can tell until it's on my face, so I like to refrain from using more than like a drop. And typically I would either add that and then blend it with the previous concealer, or I would like just go ahead and have the lighter powder to just really give it the highlight that we're looking for. So I hope you guys can see the shade. I added like some very subtle shades to my face, and honestly this is all that I do for my foundation to be perfect, flawless, and to have the most natural look that you could possibly have with a makeup. You know, it's literally taken me 15 minutes. 15 minutes top chrono. One of the key steps for me actually that makes the whole difference is this. You know, it's funny because I spent years of my life not using like a fixing spray, and it's funny because once you discover things, you're like, oh man, I can't go back. So I use this MAC Prep and Prime Fix It Plus Goldlite thingy. I use it a lot, but you can't tell because it's so full. And I think it does a great job of like freshening me up, making my makeup last even longer, and just giving me this little va-va-voom. Whoa! It's one of those days when I went overboard, but see, look at it. Look at how much pizzazz it's adding already, right? I'm just gonna let it dry. But I usually love the look. I love the look of my face once I spray it because I always feel like I'm back. It gives me like the additional glow. It makes me feel a little bit more like golden. I don't know. I know you know what I'm talking about. I know you can tell. So let me just let it dry before we start flexing. Let me let it dry before we flex. Dry bitch. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do once it's completely dry is I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of my makeup. I have my lashes on, so everything already looks pretty done. But yeah, okay, let me do the rest of my face and I'll be right back. Okay. We're all done, guys. This is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you let me know by liking and commenting below what is your go-to foundation at the moment, so I can check it out and maybe try it out, and maybe I'll find something that I love even more than this look. And yeah, and make sure that you subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and subscribe and also activate, oh my god, I haven't done this in a while, activate the notification bell, okay? And I'm gonna be leaving you guys with 2 videos, one of which is something that YouTube thinks you should be watching, and one that I think you should be watching because it's probably my latest one here, okay? I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.